Stacey Davis. Hello, my name is Stacey Davis. I am a mother of 3 children, one of which is an angel. They are all adults. I raised them as a single mother most of their lives. So I had a very close relationship with all of them. Codi McCann was my youngest child, and I knew from the time that he was born that he was going to be full of energy. From the moment he could start moving as an infant, I'd lay him out on a blanket and expect him to roll a little bit, but he would roll from wall to wall to wall to wall. Just as long as I'd leave him lay on the floor, he would just roll everywhere. And he went from crawling to running, and he had a lot of energy. It caused him problems in school. It was a struggle getting him through school. So when he finally graduated, that was like the biggest day of my life, because of my 3 children, he was the one I was questionable of whether he was going to graduate or not. But we made it, and then 4 short years later, he was gone. His homicide story, I would start where a lot of homicide families start, and that's the phone call. Pretty much every homicide family knows what the phone call is, and my phone call was from his best friend that lived with him, saying, "You need to get to State Bar and Grill. Codi is unconscious." And so his phone, unbeknownst to me, his phone was dying while he was calling me, and then shut off. So I kept calling him back, not getting an answer, as I was trying to drive there as fast as I could. And when I came over the hill into East State Village, the whole horizon was lit up with emergency vehicle lights. And I think that it's then that I knew. That was the hardest night of my life. Like, days after that were hard, but that was tough. It's just reliving it brings back the anxiety and the angst that I felt that night. And it's been almost 6 years, so I don't know if that ever goes away. I hope one day it does. So this is where it happened. From what I understand, the car he was in was parked in this spot right here. And then when they pulled his body out to give him CPR, he was laying on the ground right here. And you have to keep in mind that this is the 1st of December, so it was freezing cold. They had it roped off down at that end, and then they had California roped off, and crime scene tape was all around, so I couldn't get anywhere close to see him. And he just laid here by himself for hours in the freezing cold. And it took almost 2 years to get an arrest, and 3 years almost to the day of his killing to get a conviction. I fought with the prosecutor's office. I fought with the detectives at first, and he finally had to say, like, Stacey, you don't have to convince me. I know that this is a homicide. This is a murder and warrants murder charges. But we had several meetings with the prosecutor's office in which they sent back more things for the detective to do before they felt comfortable taking the case. And then ultimately I was told at probably about 18 months in that it wasn't likely that they would ever charge in my case. So it was very frustrating, and I was told by a very wise person who was also my detective that the way that I'm going to get justice is to get into the politics and get into the media. JAVA, the acronym JAVA, stands for Justice, Accountability, and Victim Advocacy. And we are a group of families, started off as primarily homicide families that, like, as I said, come together and support each other because we have the same pain. At first, it was really a grassroots, just like, let's meet at this place on this day and see how many people show up. And it got bigger and bigger, and now is actually a 501c3 and doing fundraising and like helping people, and a lot more than I ever imagined back then. So as Java evolved through time, we still had a lot of aggression, a lot of anger. And it wasn't until Pastor Angelo kind of joined up with us or joined our ranks and felt our passion that we really could get past the anger and the in your face. As much as Java is still kind of in your face on the justice side, Alive has walked along with us trying to bring peace in our community so that we have less families that need to get justice. Well, I'll start with, is there anything I don't miss about him? Because the answer to that is absolutely nothing. I mean, even his most irritating things I miss. And some I still experience because, like, one of his favorite things to do would be when I walked by him, he would stick out his foot and trip me. And it was so frustrating. And I mean, like, I'm a klutz to begin with, but then I'd bang my shin or something and I'd get so mad. But now, even now, I'll walk through a room with absolutely nothing on the floor and trip through the middle of the room. So maybe it's just because I'm a klutz, or maybe it's because he's let me know he's around. He worked for UPS when he passed, and he was in a career path with UPS. So I would like to think today that he would have continued that career path and perhaps been a driver for UPS, or maybe he went to college and got a business degree so he could work in the office at UPS. I'm not sure. I often wonder. It's one of the things that kind of haunt me, because nobody knows. Nobody knows what his future would be. Like, would he have kids by now? Would he be married? Those are the things that you wonder when you lose a child.